Look at solving using the law of sines. If I'm told that angle C is 102 degrees, angle B is 29 degrees, and side B is 28 feet. If I draw my triangle, and it's obviously not going to be drawn to scale, but we're just drawing it so that we can label things. If this is angle C and it's 102 degrees, here's angle A. We'll say angle B is 29 degrees, and so side B is 28 feet. This is an angle-side triangle. So, can I find angle A?
Yeah.
How? Subtract. Angle A is 180 minus 102 plus 29. So that's 49, you say? Okay. So if you're given two angles, it's real easy to find the third angle. Now we need to find our other two sides. So you always use the given information whenever possible. So let's start and find side A. Or we'll go ahead and find side C first, since we were given angle C. So if we have C over the sine of 102 degrees equals 28 over the sine of 29 degrees. So I want to find side C. We're going to multiply 28 times the sine of 102 over the sine of 29 degrees. Be sure that you close your parenthesis, because your calculator opens up a parenthesis. Be sure you close it. You don't have to put degree in there. So what is side C approximately? No, be sure you're in degrees. 56.49 or 56.5, right. And it's feet because B is given in feet. So how are we going to find side A?
Do the same thing.
We'll do the same thing. We know that we have A over the sine of, we said A was 49 degrees. Go back and use your given information, 28 over the sine of 29. So A is approximately?
So it would be A equals 28 times sine.
28 times the sine of 49 divided by the sine of 29.
43.59.
43.59. Please be sure that you're getting that. If you're not, we need to get that. We talked about the case where we were given two sides and one angle.
Yep.
This is called the ambiguous case. We have to do some investigation here. Ambiguous. That means we'll have to investigate. You could have one triangle, you could have two triangles, or you could have no triangles. So we're going to have to investigate. Notice we're only given one angle. This is whenever you're just given one angle is when we have to go and do a little bit further investigation. All right. So if we're given that side A is 22, side B is 12, and angle A is 42 degrees. I'm going to go ahead and draw a triangle.
Side and Pythagorean.
And it's not right, so we can't use the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so I've labeled what I have. This is side C here. So the first thing that we need to find is angle B. Because we have side B, so we don't have anything about C. So we can find angle B. That's a C.
So we can.
This thing doesn't always... There, does that look more like a C? All right, so we're going to use the law of sines. The sine of angle B over 12 equals the sine of 42 over 22. I put the sine, the angle on top, because that's what I'm looking
Well,
for.
I know that, but how would you set up the next part? B
Wait, I thought you were looking for
equals-
side.
All right,
How do you know what to put where?
what do you mean what to put where?
Like in the last one, you put 28 times sine. Did you just
Okay.
cross multiplication?
Cross multiply. So the sine of B is 12 times the sine of 42 over 22. Just cross multiply. You got kind of like a proportion here from geometry. Now, the sine of B is, we're going to get an approximation here. Let's see what you get to 4 digits. 0.3649. Okay, this is why we have to do some investigation. There are two angles who have a sine of 0.3649. One of them is an acute angle in the first quadrant, which is what your calculator gives you. The other is an obtuse angle in the second quadrant. So we've got to check both of those situations. So you got to use your inverse function. Second sign, second answer. Remember, if you want to use second answer, it's the right above the negative key on the bottom. It'll pick up what the answer you just got. So if you hit second sign, second answer, that should give you an angle.
21.406.
So angle B is 21.4 approximately. All right. Angle B could also be 180 minus 21.4. So since you have your calculators out, it's just easier to 158.6. Okay, now this is where we have to check against what we were given. We were told angle A is 42 degrees. What happens if I add 42 and 158.6?
That goes over.
It goes over 180 degrees, so this is a one triangle solution.
Right.
Okay, so this is a one triangle solution. Because if I add 42 to 158, it's more than 180 degrees. It's one triangle.
So you just add your angle that you already have to.
And see if it'll work. If my angle had been like 30, no, that wouldn't work. 20, I could have more than one triangle. My original angle was 20, I could have two triangles.
Okay, so once you have side B, then you have to use your inverse to get to 21.4.
Yes, yes. Okay, so we've determined that we have one triangle. I know that angle B is 21.4 degrees. Can we find angle C?
Yes. 42 plus 21.4.
180 minus 42 plus 21.4.
16.6.
116.6.
116.6.
All right. So here's one unknown. Here's C. Now I have to find side C.
This is out. Who's playing the soccer?
We're going to use 22 over the sine of 42. So C is approximately what?
Okay, wait.
We don't know what side C is, but we know what angle C is.
Uh, 29.40 or 29.4.
29.4. So we have just solved that triangle.
Wait, what was the question?
We have just solved that triangle.
Oh, yeah.
We were given three things, we found the three unknowns. Michael, you'll like this one.
Oh, are
Yes,
you
we
sure?
don't have Spanish today. Yes.
A is 15, B is 25, and angle A is 85 degrees. All right, if you want to draw the triangle, here's angle A is 85 degrees, and this is 15. If this is angle B, then this is 25. Angle C and side C.
Okay, for this one, you just do the same thing that we did.
Yeah, we still have to use the law of sines. First, we're going to try to find the sine of B. So the sine of angle B over 25 equals the sine of 85 over 15. So the sine of B is 25 times the sine of 85 over 15, which is approximately,
1.66.
what do you get when you try to find the angle?
1.66.
Did you do the inverse of that? Inverse sine?
Wait, how do you
What'd you do?
Second sign, second answer.
second?
It gets an error in the.
Why is it getting an error?
Because it's past,
Oh, it's past one.
It's greater than 1.
Wait, it's greater than 1.
So is there 0?
This is larger than 1, so there is no triangle.
there is no triangle.
So.
No triangle.
What if I told you
There is no triangle. If you get the sine of an angle to be greater than 1, that's not possible.
Well, that's what it is.
You cannot have a triangle with these dimensions.
So that's it.
That's it, no triangle.
I like
I
it.
told you you'd like that one.
I do like
It's
that one.
pretty much endable.
Okay, let's look at the other case. I want to finish this before you go to lunch, so I would suggest you pay attention. Otherwise, you'll be here into your lunch.
Ask your brother.
Okay, here is our
Yes, ask your brother.
other triangle. Nicholas. A is 12, B is 31, and angle A is 20.5 degrees. You have a calculator, what difference does it make? 31.
It means I gotta push the little button down. I'm probably gonna forget and I'm gonna have to go all the way back and
All right, so angle A is 20.5, side A is 12, side B is 31, so we want to find,
Side C.
Sine B.
we need to find the sine of B. We've got to find angle B.
Right. How do you know, like, which, does it matter which one you find first, or?
Yes, because we have side B, so we don't have anything to help us figure out C. We got to find angle B before we can do anything else, since we're given side B. So the sine of B over 31 equals the sine of 20.5 over 12.
Okay, you get 64.78.
So the sine of B is 0.9047. Is that right? Did you get that? Okay, and so then Megan was a little step ahead of us, and she says that angle B is what'd you say, 64.78?
Yeah.
Okay, we also have to check, B could also be 180 minus 64.78, which is what? 115.22. Just calculator, just subtract. That's not us. Now, if I add angle A to that, if I add 20 degrees to that, is it more than 180 or less than 180? Less. So this is a two triangle.
Hold on, wait, Ms. Campbell. How
Mhm.
did you get the 64.72? Where'd that come from?
Second sign, second answer,
And that's
from here.
what the angle is supposed to be?
The angle is 64.78 degrees for the first quadrant, because we found the sine of it
Okay, so now you need to take away the sine part and it gives
and
you-
find the angle.
Got it.
All right, this inverse function. So we got two triangles to solve here. Not that bad. Okay, how do we get angle C here?
Well, you've got A and B.
64.
Try and watch Megan.
But the answer is sine of B equal not.
See, 94.
The sine of B is 0.9407. Angle B is 64.78.
You get 94.7.
Inverse function. You have to use the inverse on your calculator.
All
right, so-
94.72.
94.72.
94.72 degrees. And so now we can find side C. And we'll just use the given information. And that's just like you've done before. So C is,
C would be,
It's 12 times sine 94.7.
yes, divided by the sine of 20.5.
So it's 34.15?
34.15, yes. Okay, so this is one triangle, solved. Okay, we can find angle C over here. We've just, we'd have 180 minus 115.22 plus 20.5. Well, 20.5, I can't get it on there. But C equals 44, is it 44.28? Did you, 115.22 plus 20.5. Okay, and then you can find side C the same way you did before. And so side C,
Over the sine of.
let me move this up just a little bit. C over the sine of, I probably can't erase that now. The sine of 44.28 equals 12 over the sine of 20.5. So C is 23.92. So we solve both triangles.
Okay, that's really good, bad.
No, it's really not too bad. I think this is easier just to consider. Anytime you're given one angle, check to see if you could have two triangles. There's a formula in your book that you can use, but I can never remember the formula, so I figured if I can't remember it, you probably wouldn't want to try to remember it either. All right. Pardon?
So like on our next quiz, we'll have to have these memorized.
For the law of sines, yes, but not the formula to determine whether, you don't, I'm not giving you the formula to determine whether you got one, none, or two triangles. It's just easier to check it.
On this quiz coming up, do we have all the letters?
Not on the quiz, but by the time you have a test, I expect you to know them.
Wait.
Where do we have them for the quiz?
So you'll give us the equal or
Oh,
formula
thank you so much.
even in all
Thank you so much.
Hmm? This is your assignment that you can work on after you finish your quiz after lunch.